welcome to this episode of Cali and Craig Talk. I'm Cali.
And I'm Craig.
Today, it's just you and me, bestie.
It is. And I think this episode comes out on October 12th, which is Canadian Thanksgiving. So happy Canadian Thanksgiving. No,
Oh,
October 14th. 12th is a Saturday. That's when I'm having Thanksgiving dinner. October 14th. Happy Thanksgiving.
that's right. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving. Yeah. This is
Hmm.
something that we don't celebrate in October, so it's always interesting for me that we celebrate it like at different times.
Yeah.
And mhm.
I still don't understand when or why or how American Thanksgiving dates are chosen. And it always seems like from watching TV shows, it seems like it's a whole week in November. That's what it always feels like.
Yeah, it seems like a whole week in November, but yeah, it's like the third Thursday of November, so
Third
whichever one
Thursday.
it falls on. I don't know why though. Like I don't understand why. I'm not really
Hmm.
sure either. But it does kind of feel like it lasts a whole week because like the day before everyone's traveling and then it's Thanksgiving Day and then there's Black Friday and then there's Super Saturday and then it's like,
Oh,
everyone
okay.
goes
Yeah.
back to work like after that. So yeah, it does seem like that. I don't think so. Things are not as crazy though in Canada, right, for Thanksgiving?
No, so our Thanksgiving is the second Monday in October. Um, and I'm sure some people do travel for Thanksgiving to come home, but it doesn't seem to be, from my experience, as much a thing as it is in the US.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that I might be wrong, but I think that's the busiest travel weekend or travel like week of the year,
I
I
think I've
think.
heard that, so I believe
Yeah,
you.
I'm pretty sure. Well, I could be wrong. I wouldn't believe me, but I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, we've traveled a couple times on Thanksgiving, but I don't know. And a lot of people do come to our state for Thanksgiving because it's warm. So
Hmm.
they want to
Hmm.
get away. I would rather do the opposite. I am happy to be in a warm state all the rest of the year, except for not Thanksgiving and Christmas. Those two times I would like to be where it's cold.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, normally here it's like a crisp fall day on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Usually a bit wet because my mom isn't always in town for Thanksgiving, but when she is, we walk from her house to my aunt's house for Thanksgiving dinner. So it's always like might be a little bit drizzly, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of crisp. Lots of leaves crunching under our feet. It's a
Hmm.
really lovely day.
Yeah, and that's different here because you remember last year, I can't believe it's been a whole year. But do you
Mhm.
remember last year on American Thanksgiving, my husband told me I had to not be working with you for one day. Do you remember he forced me to take
Oh,
the day
yes,
off?
the Day of Darkness. Yes.
Yes. And I had to be cut off from you for that day. And then and then I was at the beach, remember?
Hmm.
I
I
went to
do.
the beach and then I sent you a message on my story and I was like, whoever's watching this, I hope you're doing the TL and I hope you're getting it work. My husband's like looking at me on the beach. I'm like, you said I couldn't work. I'm not doing work.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's always hot here. It doesn't feel like Thanksgiving the way,
Hmm.
like, because for me, I just picture it to be cool. Like you said, like it's cool.
Yeah.
Drizzling, I wouldn't probably like, but the cool outside, I would like that. When we were in Tennessee for those couple of years, that was a nice time. Like during fall
Hmm.
was nice because it wasn't too cold, but it was like nice and crisp outside.
So you'll have to forgive my lack of geography. I did know the states. I think I told you
Hmm.
that in
Hmm.
grade 10
Hmm.
geography, I think we were given a blank US map and we had to name all the states and their capitals, but I've forgotten where roughly-ish is Tennessee.
It's just north of Florida. It's like a few states up. So
Okay,
there's
so
like
is it
right
more
above
like
us is
midway?
Georgia, like right
Yeah.
above us is Georgia, and then the Carolinas, and then above
Okay.
that is Tennessee.
Okay, so it's further north than I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's like right around there. Wait, it's like to the side of North Carolina. Like it's not northern. It's
Okay.
like whoop, to the sidey
Okay.
northy kind of goes this way. And I'm drawing with my hands in the air. I do know where
Mhm.
Tennessee is.
But it's kind of
Yeah.
hard to explain because
Mhm.
it's not like Canada where 10 of our provinces are just side by side. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
no.
go over one line on the map. Yeah.
Yeah, no, no, no. It's a little different. But yeah, it was nice they're there. But like Christmas, I love the idea of a white Christmas, but I didn't like it when we had it. Like the reality of it, I didn't like. I liked the way it looked because the Christmas that well, we had two Christmases in Tennessee. But one of them it was really pretty, like white Christmas, super like the snow was falling all fluffy and it was all gorgeous. But then, like, the reality of that is that the power was flicking on and off, and there were
Mm.
like power outages everywhere. So, like, can you even imagine, like, Christmas Eve, we're like terrified that the power is going to be off, and like, kids aren't
Oh,
going to have
yikes.
like power on
Hmm.
Christmas morning. So, you guys don't lose power during
No,
snowy stuff?
no, because our infrastructure is kind of built for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it feels like we have winter for like 11 months of the year and summer for 1 month of the year. That's what it feels like. Um, but yeah, especially here in Winnipeg, like central Canada, like we get, I don't know, tons and tons of snow, really high winds sometimes in the winter. Um, yeah, so, and really cold temperatures, like horribly cold.
Yeah.
So we've had to adapt to it. So all of our infrastructure is it takes a lot to shut the city down. There was actually in October, I think it was a Thanksgiving weekend even, about 6 years ago. It was just before COVID. There's this freak snowstorm on a October weekend where we got, I want to say it was like a whole foot of snow
Oh.
in one day. And it was like thick and slushy. And
hmm
like if you went driving, you would get stuck in it.
hmm
And of course, John is like, we should go for a drive. So we did go for a drive and we got stuck, I think, twice, but
Oh
we
my
managed to go for
gosh.
a drive and go back in the garage. Um,
hmm
so even that didn't really shut down the city. The
hmm
snowplows were out right away taking care of
hmm
things.
hmm
But that was the closest to shutting down and
Yeah,
things
but
not
that's
working.
wild, like in the middle of October
Mhm.
that would
Yeah, and
happen.
then
Yeah.
like it all melted 2 days later. It
hmm
was one of those freak
Yeah.
nature things. Yeah.
Your weather's kind of wonky right now too, because like a couple weeks, like just like 2 weeks ago, it was hot when you
Yep.
were going to work, and now it's like cold. Like this morning I
Yeah.
looked and what was that I say? It was like 40 something. Was that yesterday or today we were
Yeah.
talking about the
I
temperature
think it
in the
was
chat?
today
I don't
because I think it
remember.
was
Yeah.
7 degrees Celsius, which would be probably 40 something
Yeah, it was like 40 something, which is
Fahrenheit.
cool. Which is
Yeah,
very
so like
cool.
our September was really warm. I think it was the warmest ever, which
hmm
is concerning, but sure. And then October normally is colder at this time. So we did
hmm
have a couple nights where it went down to almost freezing or maybe possibly freezing, but daytimes it's still hitting like 20-ish, which is like a nice summer day.
20. What is 20 for me? I don't know what
I
that
can
is.
never remember.
I don't know. Here, hold
Um,
on. We can use a
mhm.
converter. But yeah, I like the fall weather the most. Which season do you like the most? Well,
I
I
think I
shouldn't say
like
which season. Which weather do you like the most?
so I like fall when it's not drizzly. Like it's just a little
hmm
too wet in fall. Um,
hmm
but I like the spring and fall for the temperature, but spring is like everything's melting, it's slushy, it's muddy, it's gross.
Yeah,
Whereas in the fall, like you've got the golden leaves all over the place that kind of make the place look colorful, they crunch under
yeah.
your feet. Yeah.
Yeah. I also found that with the fall, it wasn't as pretty as like we thought it would stay pretty. Like it
Mm.
was pretty like at
Hmm.
first because all the leaves change and everything, but they don't like just stay on the trees
No.
so you can like drive by and see all the pretty colors all the time. It's only like
No.
one weekend and then like by the next weekend, because if it rains, all the leaves fall off and
Yep.
then they're on the ground. So you just have dead trees all the way until
Yep.
springtime. So yeah, it wasn't so yeah, I like the way the fall feels, but it wasn't like the novelty of it wore off pretty quick because we were
Yeah.
expecting the leaves and stuff to be all pretty.
And that's the same with winter. Like you get that first snowfall, everything's fresh and white and
hmm
cool and crisp. But then like a couple weeks in, it's like everything is slushy and gross and muddy and
hmm
dirty and everything
Yeah.
is frozen. Yeah.
Yeah.
The novelty
Yeah.
wears off real quick. I mean, I love
Yeah.
my winter. I love living in a place that has four seasons, but I get sick of winter pretty quick.
Yeah, which is why I won't move there. This is what
Hmm.
we've talked about. The only reason I won't move there is because I don't want to deal with the snow. Like I
Yep.
don't. But like I would trade I would trade our fall season and our like I don't know, I would trade the rest of the year really. But I just don't want the snow. Because like
Hmm.
right now it's 77 outside right now, but today it was like 94 was
Oh,
the high.
yikes.
So I don't know what that is in Celsius, but it's high. And then we were just talking about what 22 Celsius was. Is that what you
Yeah.
said? So
Somewhere around
that,
there.
yeah, so that's 71 degrees, which is pretty nice. I like
Yeah.
that. That's a good temperature. Like
Hmm.
that's what fall should feel like to me. Is like a nice 70. I don't know, maybe a little lower, like 65, 68. I would like that, which
Yeah,
would
that would be about
be
just
like
doing rough estimates in my head. That
19
would
or
be what I
something.
like. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Even a little cooler, like the 15 to 18 range is nice. Yeah.
I can't do math that quick, okay? I don't
Oh
know what
yeah,
that
neither can
equals.
I. I have no idea.
I know, but one of us has a degree and like is good at math. That is not
Oh,
me.
we don't
That's
need to
you.
talk about that degree that I don't use anymore. I used to do complicated math and now I
Mhm.
struggle to add without a
Oh,
calculator.
I know. I
Yep,
spend the majority of my day with you. I definitely know. But that's okay. But see, like the one good thing is that you guys don't have to deal with hurricanes.
that's true. Not in this
So
part of Canada. Yeah.
yeah, because yesterday when we were talking, because I mean, when this is going to be out, it'll be Monday, so the hurricane should be gone by then, unless it like stalls out, which would be insane, be terrible. Because sometimes, occasionally, hurricanes will kind of like they stall out and they just kind of sit over the state. But
Oh.
that would be like the longest one ever. I don't know what the record is for a hurricane staying over a state, but I'm pretty sure it's not 5 days, so
Hmm.
it should be long gone by then. But it's funny because when we were talking about it yesterday after we got done last night, I was like, you know, it's funny that you guys don't really learn that much about hurricanes there.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So, because we were talking about all the different categories, like one, two, three, four,
Hmm.
five, and the speeds and stuff. And I was talking about it just assuming that you knew. And
Yeah.
yeah, I had no idea that they didn't really teach you guys about that, but it makes sense because it's not really relevant.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we get hurricanes on the eastern coast, but I'm so far from the eastern coast.
Hmm.
So the only thing I know about hurricanes is what shows up in the news.
Hmm.
But yeah, we don't get taught anything about them.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons that we wanted to move away was because of the hurricanes. But so like when they come, they're just big and scary, and there's only so
Hmm.
much you can do. But it's, you know, when we lived in Tennessee, we had the threat of, well, yeah, blizzards, of course, but also tornadoes. Like there's tons of
Hmm.
tornadoes there. So like every place has something they have to be worried
Yeah.
about. But for I almost said for Canada. It is late for anybody listening to this. We are recording late at night. So, because I want to make sure that I don't lose power, I might lose power during the storm. So, when we'd normally be recording would be during the middle of the week at a normal time. But now we're going to do it late just to
Yep.
be safe. But in Canada, I don't know what is your natural disaster you guys worry about?
So I think it would vary from place to place, but here in Winnipeg, it's flooding in the spring.
Hmm.
So the Red River, which comes from somewhere, I think mid US or maybe even southern US.
Hmm.
So it's a major river and it goes up through our province to, I believe it goes to Lake Winnipeg and then on to Hudson Bay. And with the snow melt that happens every spring, the river can flood.
Oh.
So we have a floodway, so it's like this man-made river diversion that goes around the city.
Hmm.
But sometimes even that's not enough to control it. So in 97, I think, we had the flood of the century.
Oh.
It didn't really affect us,
Hmm.
where I was living at the time, but down the street, like 5 or 6 blocks down the street, they were completely flooded out because it was closer to the river.
Hmm.
And like the farms in the small towns, they were all like very flooded out.
Yeah.
And we do get tornadoes, not
Yeah.
in Winnipeg, but
Hmm.
around Winnipeg. There was a major one, was either an F4 or an F5 that like completely wiped out. Um, I don't think it was even a small town, but a very well-known like intersection, highway
Hmm.
intersection,
Hmm.
completely destroyed the place, several years
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, and that's the problem too with hurricanes too, is the tornadoes that like come off the sides of them,
Yeah.
like, and it's always hard because they like with tornadoes, you just don't know. Like at the
Hmm.
hurricane, like, yeah, sure, they're telling me now, like, what is today? Today's Monday, it should be here like Wednesday. We'll start. We already are feeling the rain from it because there's like outer storms that come earlier. So, like, if
Hmm.
you look at the state right now, well, it'll be too late by the time you hear this, but if you would have looked at the state today, I showed you, Craig, it was all green, and
Yeah.
that's all like just massive rain coming off it already because it's such a big, powerful storm. So like, yeah, we have time to prepare, but like, what can you really, what can you
Yeah.
do? Like, we can't like pick the house up and move the house,
Hmm.
so you can put your shutters up. You can, well, like, I have aluminum shutters, but like some people just have boards they put up on windows and like you can secure your property, but that's really all you can do. So like, yeah, you have
Yeah.
warning and you can evacuate to get like your person safe, but like your property is not really going anywhere. So there's
Yeah.
only so much you can do. But like a tornado, you have like not much warning at all, which is just
Hmm.
like there's a tornado in the area, get into a safe space, and that's it. So,
I think I was on Zoom with you when we last had a tornado warning here in
hmm.
Winnipeg, and
Hmm.
John was like, "I'm gonna go outside and like work on this tree I'm
Yeah,
chopping down,"
yeah.
because he wanted to see the tornado come. There
Hmm.
was no tornado, but he think
Yeah.
he saw a funnel cloud starting to form, but didn't actually
Yeah,
happen.
and I'm so terrified of that. I don't know. Some people are fascinated by it. Like, I'm sure it'd
Hmm.
be cool, but I think I might pass out. Like, I'd probably just be on the ground. Like, because the reality of it would just hit me. Because even
Hmm.
with this, like, the reality of it, if you really stop and you look at it and you're like, okay, like this thing is packing, what was it, 170-mile-an-hour winds or
Something
something
like that. Yeah.
tonight? Like, if you really stop and look at that and then be like, oh, yeah, that's going to go over my best friend's house. Like,
Hmm.
it's a little terrifying.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know, but there are people who like drive like directly into it to just see what it's like. And
Oh
I am
yeah.
like, no,
I
thank
believe
you.
that because there's that
Yeah.
whole thing of like storm chasers
Yeah,
that
the hurricane
Twister's movie
hunters.
is
Yeah.
based on. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like the guys, I don't want to sound like super dumb because I haven't looked up the research for this in so long because I wasn't interested in it. But I'm fairly certain they have like planes that go and they like drop a thing in it to like measure whatever
Oh,
the pressure
probably.
is and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know how it works. But I think that's how we get the information for like where the eye is and like how strong it is and stuff. But I don't know. I wouldn't want to do that.
No,
But
no,
I'm
no.
already afraid of planes for
Hmm.
regular. I
Hmm.
definitely don't want to be around a tornado, like a hurricane. No, thank you. I
Hmm.
can't even imagine what that would be like to be up in there. Because the last time that we were on a plane, there was turbulence and it was like probably like a baby rainstorm, you
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you ever been on a plane with a lot of turbulence? We've been
Uh,
on a lot of planes.
I've been on a lot of planes in my younger years. Oh God, I sound so old saying that.
Mm.
But yes, it was many years ago. Uh, no, there was one that had a little bit of turbulence, I'm pretty sure, but nothing major.
Yeah. We've been on a plane before,
Hmm.
and my husband was super afraid of he just hates flying altogether.
Yeah.
And there was tons of turbulence. And it was so funny because like he's having like a nervous breakdown in the seat next to me, and then these like four old biddies behind me are just like totally asleep, mouths open, and like he's having a panic attack that's like passed on to me. So the two of
Hmm.
us are like having a panic attack, and the whole rest of the plane is asleep. And we're like, oh my God, we're gonna die. It's so funny. But yeah, ever since that we haven't flown. It was when we got engaged in Washington, D.C. So
Oh,
that was a
that'd
long
be
time
quite
ago.
some time. Yeah.
Yeah, like we've been married 15 years, so that was 16 years ago, long time ago. Yeah,
Hmm.
when we were
Hmm.
young. When
Yeah.
once when we were young.
Yes.
But yeah, we have not been on a plane since then. I was like, no thanks. And I think we both had a couple drinks too to keep us chill on the plane, but
Oh, that didn't work. Or maybe it did work because it could have been much worse.
maybe. I don't really know. I hadn't thought of the things that he told me until like we got on the plane. I was like, "Oh, don't worry. You'll be with me. You won't be afraid." And then I'm like by the end, like I was like kissing the pavement when we got out. Like I was like, I'm never getting on a plane ever again. That's why I won't come see you because I'm like, "Oh
Hmm.
yeah, no, I'm not going on a plane. This is absolutely not. It's terrifying. I'm too scared."
Hmm.
I would drive in a car. Well, okay, I won't drive a car because we know that I'm not going to drive passenger princess for life.
Yeah.
But I would ride in a car to Canada before I would fly, which is
Hmm.
asinine because like the drive would take days and the flight
It
would take
would.
like
Yes.
just a couple hours. But
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, no thanks. I think I'd just drive. No. Oh, I need to post that picture of Wizard when you had Wizard babysit me yesterday.
Oh, yes. He was so rude to you.
No, he wasn't. It was
For
just,
listeners at home, I was on a Zoom call with Callie and I needed to take a bathroom break, so I told Wizard to entertain Callie. She took a couple pictures and he stuck his tongue out at her.
hmm He was playing. It was cute. There's a couple of them where he was actually watching. He was like, okay, I guess I'll watch you. But
Hmm.
it probably gets tired of seeing me in Zoom. I'm in there with you all the time, especially on the weekend. He's probably like, oh, she's here. He's not going
Hmm.
anywhere for the rest of the day.
I really
Hi.
feel like the
Mm-mm.
cats, like they both come when I'm talking to you. I'm wondering because they don't know technology. I
Mm-mm.
wonder if they think I'm crazy. Like
Mm.
that guy is talking to himself again. I'm gonna
I
go
don't
keep him company.
I don't know because they usually look over at the camera and then they're like, eh,
No, that's
whatever.
true.
Yeah,
That's
and they're
true.
like, eh, whatever. They just see, he's like, he's looking now and
Hmm.
then he's just like, yeah, he's not interested most of the time. But when you told him to babysit, he was like,
Yes, he paid
he
attention. He did
he
his job.
sat directly in front of the camera and stared over. But it was like really like that
Mhm.
look of like your parent tells you to do something that you don't want to do. Like he really had that face, like,
Mhm.
you said I have to watch her. You just sat directly in front of the camera, which is funny because Shiger normally sits in front of us.
Yes, yeah,
But
Wizard
Wizard
doesn't
goes
do that
back and
usually.
forth, like, and he gets comfortable like he's doing right now. For
Like
listeners
he's
at
doing right
home,
now.
he
He
goes in
is,
front of
yeah.
Craig and tries to get like
He's like
comfy.
walking back and
Hmm
forth, and he'll settle down soon. He was settled down, but I don't know why he got up.
hmm
There he
we'll
goes.
see.
He's about to roll over.
Hmm
Come
Yep.
on, do it,
There
do
we
it.
go. Do the thing.
There we
It's
go.
so cute. It's his routine. It's adorable. But to go back a few steps, we were talking about Thanksgiving, and after
Hmm.
Thanksgiving comes Christmas.
That's
But
true.
before either of those things, our book is coming out on
Yes,
November the 1st.
November 1st. Yes. Did
Hmm
we ever announce a title on the podcast for the people that listen but don't follow us on
We,
social media?
we did, but who would listen to us and not follow us? That wouldn't even
That's
make
true.
sense. Who would do?
Yes.
If there's anybody doing that, can you please like send me an email at calikitsu@gmail.com and tell me that you follow us like on the podcast, but not on social media because I'd be really interested to know why.
Yeah.
Because we post a
There's,
lot of
yeah.
fun stuff.
Hmm. We
Hmm
do. You
But you
should
can say
follow
the
us.
name anyway.
Yeah, it's Cookies, Candles, and Cute Butts for Christmas by
Mm,
Cameron D. James. That's my smut name. And Cali Kitsu.
That's my smut and white name. No, I have it. And we toyed with using Ally Vixen. I think we talked about this. Did we talk about
Yeah.
this last week? I feel like
I
we
don't
did.
remember.
I don't know
But
either.
yeah.
It all runs together.
Yeah.
But we toyed with using Ally Vixen, but I had some readers who are, more concerned that people might not be able to, with me being a new author, they might not
Hmm.
know that it was my book and they would want to support me and they'd want to follow me. And then obviously my husband was like, please don't tell me you have to create another
Yes.
social media account for you to manage because like it's already way too much, which it is. I mean, like, we
Yeah.
have between the two of us, we have so many accounts that we manage, like
Yeah.
for the publishing house, and then you with the pen names, and then me with the all the other stuff. I can't even.
I think
Um,
I
I want
counted
another
mine
one.
once, like mine personally and company wise, and something like 40 to 50 accounts is what I
Yeah.
have between everything.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I didn't really
Mhm.
want to toss another one into the mix, which I had a few people that said it was probably not a good idea, but I don't write young adult, and
Yeah.
you as the publisher and best friend and editor agreed with that this was the right way to go because it's not straight erotica, this story. It is a romance story.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it'd be different if it was like you were writing children's picture books and the kinkiest, filthiest taboo
mm-hmm,
erotica. Like
mm-hmm,
then I'd say, yeah, you
mm-hmm.
better use a different pen name, but
Yeah.
I think it's fine to use the same.
Yeah, we would save Ally Vixen for that kind of stuff.
Yes.
We're not gonna,
So
yeah.
kinky readers, watch out for that in the future.
Yeah, yeah, we're not busting Ally Vixen out for this one. We're gonna keep this one Cali Kitsu. But I think that it works. I think that it works because yeah, like You Can Call Me Cooper is it's young adult, but it's also like slash new adult, we said, and
Yeah.
it's college and it's pretty spicy. And then
Yeah.
same with Froderick, Gay Son of Dracula. That's it's not as spicy as Cooper because they're in high school, but it's got a little
Oh,
kick to
it
it.
does. Like that biting scene. I don't want to give any details, but if you are in for like a real intense bite, you better read that book.
Yeah, I liked that part. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's been really fun. Um, who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody about what it was like for us writing together. I can't remember. Maybe we were just talking about it ourselves.
We could
Maybe I
have.
was just talking to you. I don't know. But I do wonder what it's like for other people. Oh no, you know what? I do know who it was, but I didn't ask them if I could talk about it on the podcast, so I won't do that. But I do have another author friend who's co-writing a book with someone else.
Hmm.
I don't think they're as close as we are. Like they don't work together the way that we do. But I'm always interested in the way that other people co-write a book because for us, we didn't know how it was going to work out. We were like, we'll just come up
Yeah.
with a scene and then we go in Zoom and we, mute ourselves and write the scene. And half the time we wrote stuff that just was like, whoop, just went perfectly
Hmm.
together without even going over anything. So I think that's been a really pleasant surprise.
I've been extra surprised by how well we sync with something because I'm remembering where I was writing my scene and it was like because I'm writing the candle maker's perspective and I was like, oh, that's the woman that likes the pine scented candles while she reads lumberjack porn. And then
Mm-hmm.
you were writing this at a scene at the same time. And it's like, oh, here's the pine scented candles that Kellen wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
perfectly in sync. We didn't even plan that. Didn't
Yeah.
even discuss it. It was a thing I just threw out on a whim,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we had
We
the
wrote
same
that at
thing.
the exact same time too. It was
Yeah,
during the same sprint. Like we didn't even talk about what was going to be in it. That was a really crazy one, actually.
yeah.
Now that I think about it, that was really crazy because I said that the Brayden, who's my character, he is the cookie shop owner and he receives a package, but it was intended for Kellen, but he gets it on accident. And I said I opened the box and there were pine scented candles inside. And then you wrote the same thing that said, wait, like the pine scented candles. Yeah, that was a crazy one.
Yeah.
The other one that was crazy was the door. Like we didn't even, this was the next sprint, I think, the same night. So we must have, I mean, we are in sync all the time, but we were definitely in sync. This was like, remember you came over and like opened the door and you had that there were bells on the door and you
Yes.
had on your shop there was a sign that you flipped and then mine in the same scene I was like he flipped the sign that said closed and then the door had special Christmas bells on it and we like both wrote the same thing. Yeah, that
Hmm.
was wild. So yeah, it's nice to be able to write together to have something
Hmm.
that seems to be so fluid. I'll be interested to know if people could really, I mean, we did say who wrote which character, but it's not really true because we
Hmm.
both have a lot of input into
Yes.
what's happening with the character. So like even though I would say like Braden's my character and Kellen is your character, like that's just, it's
Hmm.
not entirely tr all the way true. It was
Yeah.
like 80% true,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and this book is I would say it's both hilarious
Mm,
because we are laughing through the entire thing.
that's true.
But it is incredibly steamy, like incredibly steamy.
I don't
Uh
know if steamy is even the right word.
okay. Was spicy, dildo-y.
Don't give that part away.
Okay,
Don't give
that's where
that
I
part away.
stop. That's
But
where I
yeah,
stop.
we had to do but we did get some pre-orders, which we're happy
Okay,
about.
yeah.
And coincidentally, those pre-orders came after we listed the warning about all of the stuff that was in the book. Because the
Hmm.
last thing we want, and if you listen to this podcast, then you know that we're not super clean people.
Yes.
You should know that the book is going to be dirty. Obviously, it's an adult romance, and we believe that adults have sex and adults have a lot of
Yeah.
sex. So why would we not write about that? And it's
Hmm.
Christmas. So shouldn't they be having extra lots of sex? We think
Yeah.
they should.
Hmm.
So we didn't want a chance that anyone's gonna get the book and think it's like some kind of a soft thing
Hmm.
with closed doors.
That's because we struggled with the title too, because we were originally
Hmm.
just having cookies and candles, and we are like,
Hmm.
that sounds too Hallmarky.
It
We
did.
need something that indicates the saucy content, and so
Hmm.
that's where the cute butts came
But
from.
we had to say with the cute butts. We wanted to say other things,
We did,
but
yes.
Amazon has rules for what we can and can't say. So like
Mhm.
we also didn't want to give it a title that had like, something in it that we couldn't say and then try and market it because people are never going to be able to find it if
Yeah.
we can't use the title like all the way. So, and then yeah, cookies and candles for Christmas. We thought the problem with that was going to be people shopping for Christmas.
Yes.
And then typing, cookies and candles for Christmas, and then they're not going to find the book. They're just going to get lost looking for cookies. Because, like, you imagine typing that in, like cookies and candles for Christmas, and then like a little gift basket comes up, and you're like, oh, this is great. And then you just start your Christmas shopping and forget all about the book.
Yep.
It could happen, or vice
That can
versa. Like
happen.
some
Hmm.
really prudy person is looking
Yeah.
for cookies and candles and then comes up with cookies and candles for Christmas. So yeah, we have some content warnings that goes out into some marketing materials. Not in the book though, because we shouldn't, there's no trigger warnings in this
No,
book.
they're not real content
No,
warnings.
no.
This is a safe read for people who pay attention to content warning. It's a
Hmm.
safe read in that way, but it's definitely a read you probably want to read by yourself because it is extra hot
Yeah, these guys have sex everywhere. I don't know what
and multiple times per day.
yeah, they do. Man, lucky bastards.
Hmm.
They're having a good time, which is what we want for our
Yes,
characters. Thank you.
exactly.
Yes. And they should. It's the festive season. What did we say for the tagline? Super
Uh,
slutty. Super slutty? What
the
was it?
super slutty but festive was the original, but
Yeah,
we tweaked it a bit.
yeah,
Super slutty festive fun.
something like that, I
Yeah.
think so. But and then we were going back and forth to see if that even worked or not. But we do need a tagline on the front because the cover art is so cute and
Hmm.
like I don't know. Hopefully people know it's like that's the problem though, is that it is cute.
Hmm.
It's also a cute
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lots of
What I'm trying to figure out, trying to decide, I think as a publisher, I'm gonna go to a couple of Christmas markets with tables full of books. Do I take candles, cookies, candles, and cute butts for Christmas,
mm-hmm,
extra spicy,
mm-hmm.
to an old person Christmas market?
100%.
Okay.
100%. Because think about that thing that you had. Remember you had that in your younger days before you knew me.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah.
those saucy old ladies, that saucy old lady, I still think she took you in the bathroom, but you said no.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
no.
she tried to take you in the bathroom and
Yeah,
teach you a
for
few things.
I'm trying I think I probably mentioned this story on the
We
podcast
did.
before, but for people
Mhm.
who are newer, I did a live reading of my very first erotic romance at a book convention, and I was expecting like not expecting a room full of gray-haired ladies.
Mhm.
And then one of them afterwards came up and gave me tips for making it extra dirty, even
Mhm.
dirtier than, and
Mhm.
at the time I was like, this is awkward. I'm gonna like just pretend I'm listening, but
Hmm.
now looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, she was right.
Yeah,
She was
she was
right.
right. Yeah, she was right with whatever she talked about. But
Yeah.
she's really lucky I wasn't your best friend by then because her
No,
and I would have had words.
you would have like football tackled her,
I
probably.
probably would. I don't like anyone getting too close to you. I'm like, back up. This is he's spoken for. I already had to share you with John. You think I want to share some
Yeah.
old lady whispering perverted things in your ears? No, I don't think so. But yes, this has been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun to write. I hope that people enjoy it. It's
Mhm.
funny to see how far the characters come and it's like
Oh, they come pretty
I
far, pretty often,
knew as soon as I said
all
it, I'm
across
like,
each
oh
other's
God.
backs.
Everywhere. Really
Yeah.
everywhere. I mean,
The
I don't even
desk,
the
the
desk.
car seat.
Hmm. I don't know if we should keep giving it away. Really everywhere though.
That's like 2 out of 100. Like, you need to read
Yeah.
the book.
Yeah, really everywhere. But yeah, don't read the book if you don't want to read sex though. Because like
Mhm.
don't be reading the book and then be like, oh, there was so much sex in this. I wasn't prepared. Because like you've been warned.
You've
Especially
been
if you
warned.
listen to the podcast. Like you've been warned. So like please don't give us like a 1 or 2 star review just because there's too much sex in it for you. Because there's a lot of sex in it. So if you don't want to, then don't read the book. It's very
But
simple.
there
Mm.
is a genuine story in there. Like,
There
there's a
is.
real
There
touching
is.
story.
It's
Yeah.
so sweet. And that's anyway, that's what I was getting to. But I used the word come and I forgot that the two of us are children. So we can't
Yes.
say come without that. Um, it's nice to see the growth. They say the
Oh, yeah.
growth.
They grow at least a good 7 inches.
Oh, okay. Um, I don't know what to say that we're not going to make fun of. It's nice to see the character's journey.
Yes.
Their emotional journey that they go on together. I like that a lot. And I think it's funny too, because sometimes when we refer to the characters like as ourselves, and I'm like, okay, so this is, a lot of times Craig and I will be going over scenes and we're like, okay, well, I'm going to do this and you're going to do this, but we're talking about the characters. Sometimes that just is very laughable to hear
Yes.
because it's not. But we did originally set out with their personalities to be, we started with the base of our personalities and the
Mhm.
characters. And then the characters kind of came to life as we watched it
Yes.
go on,
Yeah.
which
They've
has been
gone,
really nice,
developed into their own selves. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But it's nice. It's really been fun to watch to see the way that the relationship changed. And yeah, I think their love story is really cute. I think that there are some people that it would really resonate with. I'm sure that a lot of people have had you know, feelings for someone in high school and then maybe they lost touch and maybe they get to reconnect later on and maybe they don't. I don't
Hmm.
know. It's weird because high school is one of those times where it's just they're such formative years and like
Yeah.
those emotions are so big at that time.
Hmm.
And like I think that for some people you can move on from them, sure, but there are people that leave like a lasting impact on you and doesn't mean
Yeah.
that you're meant to be or that everyone should go like, leave their spouse for their high school love or something. But, I think it can be that way for somebody that you can meet someone and the timing's just off and then it works out later
Yeah.
on. And maybe it
Yeah.
works out for them. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. I have no idea. No,
Well,
no, no, no. We promise a happy ending. We would
we
always
do.
promise a
Yeah.
happy ending. Yes. Yes. But they do have like, it's not that angsty. We made it
No,
really nice and sweet.
like there's
Like,
no like dramatic plot, but it's still engaging. For people that are looking for an
yeah.
engaging book, it's still very much engaging, but
Engaging and
without like
sweet.
all the,
Yeah.
I don't want to say the needless drama because there's a time and place for that. Our Christmas book is not the time and place for that.
No, yeah. I don't know if I don't really like my characters fighting, and I know that you don't either, but I
Yeah.
especially didn't want them fighting because it was like we were using them like originally it was like, okay, well, this is going to be mine and this is going to be yours. And I'm like, well, my character's not going to fight with your character ever. So, because I just didn't want it. And you're like, yeah, no, we're not going to fight. And I feel like sometimes in books, like there are fights that happened. And there are fights that happen and don't really need to happen.
Yes.
So we didn't want the unnecessary drama. fights are natural and they happen between couples all the time. And, a lot of times they can be very cathartic afterwards that, you had a fight and you
Yeah.
feel better after. But these guys are not going to really have a fight. They're going to talk like mature adults.
No.
Imagine, gasp.
Yes.
They talk about their feelings.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd really be able to write an argument or fight that well.
I
So
could.
like I don't argue or fight that often. So it would
Yeah.
be mostly me like trying to be like, how did this go in the movies and the TV shows? And trying to
Yeah,
write that.
I think you could write it because I think you could write anything. I don't like, my husband and I, we don't fight.
Yeah.
It's just not. And like for listeners at home, we've worked from home in the same house together for we've been married 15 years and we've worked together in the same house for 10 years. Like we share an office in different industries and, I wouldn't have it any other way. But I could definitely write a fight. But that's just
Yeah.
because I don't know, I'm always fiery and spitfire. But I could not write a fight with you. That's
Yeah.
the difference, is because I would always see you. So like seeing the character and being like, oh, my character is gonna hurt his character, like I couldn't do that. But
Hmm.
that's where I couldn't do it. But someone else's character, sure, if you threw someone else at me, I could do that. I think it would be kind of fun. But I also don't
Yeah.
like stressing readers out,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Not for a romance anyway.
Yeah, I don't like it at all, to be honest. I just like even I don't know. I told you with the pirate story, I'm thinking of changing a few things.
Yeah.
And that might be pushing what I've done a little bit further because there could be some stress in there. But for the
Hmm.
most part, I like to create like a safe little bubble where my readers can go and feel happy.
Yeah.
This one they can go and feel juicy and happy.
Very juicy. Yeah.
Things get juicy and it's happy. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a couple of your books if they're what are the high stress moments? I know of a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in
Yeah.
well, I guess the biggest fight that I've had in a book is in drag queens, emo teens, and big dreams because there's a
Hmm.
father-son fight that results in
Yeah.
it's just spoilers if the book has been out for like 8 years.
It's not, and people should read Drag Queens anyway. I
Okay.
mean, for
And it's
goodness
like
sakes. Yeah.
it's midpoint. It's not a spoiler
Yeah.
towards the end. But yeah, there's
Yeah.
a big father-son argument when the son like runs away.
Hmm.
He's safe. So for
Yeah.
people that are
Yeah.
worried about things
Yeah.
like that, he goes to a safe person and a safe place. And they the whole second half of the book is about them, father and son, maybe trying to reconcile, but also
Yeah.
not wanting to reconcile. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. There's
Yeah.
another stressful part in that book though. This is like two. There's another one. I won't point that one out.
Yeah, so that's the big one.
Yeah. I'm not gonna
That
point
has
it out.
gotten some readers stressed out in the past,
The one
from
that
what
I'm
I've been
talking
told.
about? The one I'm talking about?
Um,
Or the one you're talking about?
the one I'm talking about, because it has to do with like being closeted in a homophobic place.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that has made some readers uneasy, understandably, because everybody's experiences are different.
Yeah, I think that's the difficult thing too is with being an author is like, we do want to be sensitive to people and trigger warnings weren't really a thing when drag queens
Yeah,
came out to begin with.
no, not
But
really.
even with that, that's, it's everyone reads differently and everyone, you know,
Hmm.
takes things differently, so it's difficult. But anyway, your
Yeah,
book is phenomenal and I actually I say the name of your book in Frederick?
you do. Yes.
I do.
I believe Davi and Caleb love the book.
Yes,
Yes.
100%. Caleb loves Drag Queens, Emo Teens, and Big Dreams by one Dylan James, which
Yes.
I added that in before we were best friends, by the way. That remember?
Oh,
What do you
that's
mean?
right.
Oh,
No,
yes,
I
it
knew. I
was.
knew.
Of
I
course
knew.
you
Yeah,
don't.
I knew.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course you know I submitted that to you before then. So yeah, but I'm surprised because no one's even asked me about it. Like no one said, I'm wondering if people even know it's a real book. Like
Yeah, I wonder about that sometimes.
I don't know. I think I need to do a promo. You know what? Maybe that'll be our promo this week. I need to take, if my house doesn't get blown over
Yes.
and I don't end up blown away
There
somewhere.
are priorities, so take care of your family and your house first.
Yeah. Thank you for that. But yeah, I think we need to put Frederick and drag queens next to each other and be like, this book is in this book. Because I'm wondering if people think it's fake. Because like there's also like a part with in the book too where I talk about Alessandra, Freud's mom writing a
Mm,
book.
yes.
And like that book is made up, but I'm gonna write that book. Like that's
Ah,
like,
okay.
but like so like that one is made up in the sense of that it doesn't exist yet, but I still want to write it. Like I have plans to write that book.
So is that
Um
like vampire BL stuff?
yeah, that one is
Mhm.
I don't
I
say
forgot what it's called.
well, it's already
You don't
in
have to
well,
say.
it's
Yeah.
in the book. It's in the book for goodness sake, so it doesn't matter. It's the name of the book is Boys Kiss Boys or We Riot.
Oh, yes, I
Yeah.
remember that.
And then it's about a bunch of high school kids in their book club who are fighting back against the library, the school library, for taking away the gay
Hmm.
books in the school.
Very
So,
topical.
yeah, very topical. So, yeah, but it will be funny. So, and yes, it would be vampires because it was a vampire school. So,
Yeah,
yeah, it should be really funny. But yeah, add that to the 5,000 other things that we have that we're
I
doing.
know. I know. I know.
Yeah, and
But yeah,
it'll
no,
get written fast. Yeah.
I know what you're saying. Like people are like, "Oh, that one book title is obviously made up." So this other one
It's
probably
obviously
made
made
up as
up
well.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I need to do that. That's what we'll do for our next promo. I have
You
my
have a
own
copy.
copy of
Yeah.
it. Yes, I do have a copy of that. So I
With
will
a
have to.
forged signature, or is it a real signature?
What did you just say to me? I don't even know what to say to that. You know,
It's a
sometimes
real signature.
listeners at home, sometimes, sometimes my best friend says things to me that are not very nice. I have books with very sweet dedications from my best friend
Hmm.
who's usually quite introverted with his emotions and got quite emotional in my dedications that I will cherish forever. So don't you dare say that I have a forged signature in my books. And actually, I have two signatures.
You
It says
do?
Dylan James and it says Craig, along with my is that dedication? Would you call it dedication?
I'd call
Call
it
it.
dedication. I don't know. What am I, a writer?
What are you, the publisher?
Uh,
Yes. Yeah, that's what I look at whenever I feel like I'm getting on your nerves. I'm like, oh no, he loves me. I can just read this. This makes me feel better. So yeah, don't you dare. But you
hmm
know who doesn't have a signed book? You.
hmm That's
Hmm.
true.
You don't have any signed books. But actually, you should be getting, we just placed an order, right?
We did. I'm gonna have some copies of Frodo. I did have some copies of You Can Call Me Cooper, but I sold them.
You did.
So I'm gonna have copies of Froderick soon.
Mm-hmm.
The details of this event don't really matter to listeners,
No.
but the general gist of it probably does. We are so here in Manitoba on one of the Fridays in October, all of the schools have the day off, so all the teachers in the entire province can go to professional development, usually within their subject area. So I'm taking a team of queer young adult books to the school librarians conference later
Mm-hmm.
this month. Hopefully sell some queer young adult books and get them in some school libraries and get them
Mm-hmm.
into the hands of kids that need slash want to read them.
I know, it's so nice. I really wish I could be there. I don't understand why we don't have a teleporting device yet.
Hmm.
Wouldn't that just solve all of our problems?
Oh, that would be so nice.
I
Yeah,
mean,
just go
honestly,
somewhere for the weekend. Yeah.
yeah, we could just do that. I mean, like, because this whole entire garden season, I've been in
Mhm.
Zoom with you for every single
Yeah.
I've been in Zoom with you for every single garden project that you've done this season.
Yeah. You
And it
have
wouldn't
watched
be
me shell beans, like a
mm-hmm.
pile of black beans, just shelling them. And yeah.
Shelling them, canning them, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But I do love it, so I'm not
Mhm.
complaining. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Somebody just walked by my house and I just completely lost my train of thought. But I do love being in Zoom gardening with you. The only thing is that it would be more fun if we were together, but
Mhm.
Zoom at least is it gives us a nice
Yeah.
it's a nice substitute for being there in
Yeah.
person. Although it would go, think of how much faster it would go if I was there. because then
Another
you'd
set of
have
hands.
another
Yeah,
set of hands. But I provide you with ample entertainment
you do. You do.
while you're doing while you're doing everything else. But God, we have done so much food in Zoom. I can't
Yeah.
even like now it's coming
Yeah.
down, like we're winding down. But like, man, we've done a
There's
lot of
still more
stuff.
to go.
Oh
Like we've
yeah,
still got the
yeah.
carrots and parsnips to wash and chop and freeze.
Mm-hmm.
Brussels sprouts, hot peppers. They're not doing so great this year.
They're
But if
not
I
doing
get a
so
bunch,
hot.
I was like, do I make the pun? Yes.
Yes, you always make
Uh,
the pun. Is the answer.
so if we get a bunch, I'll pickle them. And then bell peppers, I'll probably just chop and freeze. But if I get a bunch of red peppers, I'll do roasted red peppers and can those.
Mm-hmm.
There's still so many beans to shell.
Yeah, I
Oh,
know.
and then
We're gonna
there's all the
shell beans after this. Like we
then
hang
there's
up, we're gonna
all
more
the
beans to shell. Yeah.
popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I said this on the podcast, but like, so we grow popcorn and you have to let it like dry on the stalk. Like you have to let it dry as an entire plant. But we have a squirrel that loves to eat all
Mm-hmm.
of our popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
So John, my husband, chopped down all of the popcorn. I've not gone to look at this, but he
Mm-hmm.
hung them all upside down in the garage because that's what you do if you're gonna harvest them
Mm-hmm.
early, you hang them upside
Mm-hmm.
down. I
Mm-hmm.
have a feeling it looks like some sort of like culty
Of
horror
course it
movie
does.
thing.
A
Yeah.
100%. And it's so funny whenever you say that you don't go in the garage, because the first time you told me that, I'm like, what do you mean you don't go in your garage? Because most of our garages, like here in the States, are all attached to the house. So
Yeah.
like, and then a good portion of us just park our cars in the garage. So when you're like, oh, I never go in my garage. I'm like, I always go in my garage. Like I'm constantly in and out of the garage, but it's more like the space for the car.
Yeah.
Like
So I do go
half
in the
of it
garage.
is that. Yeah.
Yeah, I do go in the garage in the winter because
Hmm.
I don't like parking on the street in the winter, but in the summer it's just easier to park on the street. So I have
Hmm.
not been in the garage since like April, maybe.
Mm. Yeah. Because I know
Um,
there's two things I'm waiting for you to tell me what they look like, and you haven't told me yet. I won't say them on air, but there's two things in the garage you were supposed to tell me what they look like. Nah, I
that
don't know yet.
sounds like a test of my memory. I know one
No,
is the
I'm not.
corn.
I'm not.
Okay.
Is what porn? I didn't ask you
Corn,
to look at.
corn,
Oh,
corn. There's no porn in my garage. The
I
porn
bet there
is under the
is.
bed.
I disagree.
Uh,
But yeah, no, it was not porn. I'm not testing you. I
I
promise. What?
once won a porn DVD and a pair of underwear from a porn star.
Wow. This
Yeah, it
is
was a
new
Twitter
information.
contest, and I got an
This
autographed DVD,
this is new
and a
information.
pair of boxers.
Cool. Well, we
Mhm.
all, well, don't we? Well, never mind. We won't talk about that. Never mind. I was gonna say something. I'm like, yeah, I probably should say that. Never mind. There are some limits to what we will say on this podcast,
Yeah,
and I just came across one in my mind. But I have to back up. So wait, when
yeah.
was this?
Oh,
This is a
like
while ago.
I think it was before I moved into this house, so more than
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Interesting. How fun. Do you still
Mhm.
watch that DVD or is it?
I've watched it a couple of times. The acting is awful, but you don't watch
Um,
those for the acting.
No, I don't think so. You would know more than me. The stuff that you teach me, I have no idea. I learn new things from you every single day. But let's back up for a minute. We were
Mhm.
talking about food projects, and we just
Yeah,
had two new food projects over
we
the weekend.
did.
We did.
Yes.
And you
They
ate
were
them today,
delicious. Oh my
both.
God, yes.
So we made we've had a string of bad luck with the baking that we've been doing. So we needed a couple of wins. Because
Mhm.
did we talked about the pie, right? The pie was
Yes,
we did not
we
like
did.
the pie, okay?
No.
We're not supposed to give we don't like giving star ratings, but we didn't say where we got the recipe from.
Yeah,
So I'm not saying anything about any particular recipe. We did not like the recipe. We give
yeah.
that very low number of stars. But John liked that pie, remember?
He did, yep.
John
And
liked the
so,
pie.
of course,
Yeah.
that meant that I ate it as well. Because when he
Yeah.
has a
And
piece, I have a piece.
yeah. Well, you should. That is
Mhm.
a good partner that does that. And then we made the lentil soup, which I
Oh.
arguably was our fault because we
Hmm.
did deviate from a few different ingredients
Yeah.
and some half of this friendship made it wrong, and then the other half, the bestie, supported the other one and also made it wrong. So it came out like trash. So we hated
Yeah.
that. Um, and then what was after that? Then was it wind time or was there something else that was crappy? I can't remember.
Uh,
Yeah, we've been baking so much I don't remember.
yeah, I don't remember because there was a soup, but was there something before the
Oh, it's a
soup?
pumpkin soup. We
Pumpkin
just
soup.
made a
Okay, yeah.
pumpkin soup. We just made pumpkin soup last week and we've been looking forward to it because it was pumpkin cream soup, right? Is that what it was
Yeah, I
supposed to
think
be?
so. Because you
Yeah.
put sour cream in it.
Yeah, it was pumpkin cream and it had squash and we were looking forward to it. And it took us a really effing long time to make this damn
Yep.
soup. It took us like an hour and a half to get the soup prepped and made and everything. And then it was so bland and
Yeah.
so boring. But
Yes, my husband loved it. Like he ate the entire thing, I think, in a matter of 2 days.
yeah, but John loved it. So
Yep.
there you go. And Callie's went down the drain.
Yes.
Down the garbage disposal, totally ruined. But the last two things we made over the weekend,
Mhm.
this weekend, we made fall Chex Mix, which was
Yes.
delicious.
That was my very first time with Chex Mix, and it was an absolute win.
hmm We have pictures of that. I need to post that. We'll post
Yes.
those pictures. If we haven't posted them already, so check our Instas because we might have already posted them. But yeah, we made fall Chex Mix, which is cinnamon Chex with white chocolate wafers melted into it, and then like a fall spice mix that you put on it, and then you mix it all up with powdered sugar and toss in some candy corn with some mellow cream pumpkins, and it's
Hmm.
so freaking good.
It was so good. I
hmm
still have more, and I'm looking at it right now, and I'm like, my stomach is full, but I'm so tempted.
Yeah, what time is it? I don't know. I need you to write, so I don't care. If you want to eat, you can eat some because I need you. If you have sugar at this time, I don't know what's going to do to your belly, but that's up to you.
Hmm.
The other thing we made was what?
It was I hope I get the name right, but I think it was like cream cheese, no, cream cheese, chicken cracked chili.
Yeah, I
I don't
think
know.
that's what it
It's
was
like
called.
a
Yeah, that's what
creamy
it was
chicken
called.
chili. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good. I liked that
That
one a
was
lot. You
super
liked it
good.
too, right? Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, and that one was so easy.
It was. You just dump everything in a crock pot and like turn it on.
Yeah, it was so easy. Like we had and it wasn't expensive. Like what was the most expensive thing was the chicken?
Probably the chicken. Yeah.
Probably the chicken because everything else was like canned
Yeah.
vegetables
Yeah, and
and
I
cream cheese. Oh,
got my chicken on clearance, so it was
mm-hmm.
nice and cheap too.
Yeah. And then we put some tortilla strips on it. It was delicious.
Hmm.
So yeah, so we had back-to-back wins. So we're
Hmm.
lucky. I don't know, are we baking anything? So for Canadian, wait, when is Bestie Fun Day? We have a Bestie Fun Day scheduled. What day is that?
Uh, we're doing it actually on Thanksgiving, I think, since that's my like one free day on the weekend, so the 14th.
That's Bestie Fun Day is the 14th.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. And then you have but Canadian Thanksgiving celebration is on Sunday.
On Saturday. I'm
On
seeing
Saturday.
another friend on Sunday. But
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Um,
remember. I have it on the
yeah.
task list. I remember. It says Callie's being abandoned for
Yes.
several hours on this day. And then it says the same
Accurate.
thing on Sunday. That's what it
Accurate.
says. And for anyone who doesn't know, it's because we spend literally all day Saturday and Sunday in Zoom. So yes, Callie is being abandoned for
Hmm.
2 days. So I will be orphaned. But depending on what happens with the hurricane, it might be busy anyways. So
Yeah.
hopefully everything will be fine, and by that day it won't matter. But yeah, I was thinking we could make something on Monday,
Hmm.
but you might have ton of leftovers. I don't really know.
Yeah. So, because my aunt always makes us take home the leftovers, so I probably wouldn't want something that's like a dinner that we make
Mm-mm.
because I'll probably
Mm-mm.
have lots of chicken
Mm-hmm.
and potatoes and stuffing and stuff.
Yeah, I liked our pumpkin Chex Mix. And I liked that pumpkin, like the bread that we made. That one was our
Yeah.
best pumpkin one that we made. But it's still what like the bread was perfect. Well, cake. It was really a cake, right? We wouldn't
Yeah.
really call
Well, I
pumpkins
think it
bread. Was
said
it a
bread. We can
bread?
call it it. If we
But it
want
was
to
like
pretend
a
we're healthy,
cake.
it was bread.
Okay, yeah, we made bread with frosting on it, and then what we did was we took the extra frosting and and then we smeared it with extra frosting too, because there wasn't enough frosting on the top. So yeah, we
So,
smeared that
nice
on our
healthy piece of
bread.
bread.
We put it on our bread. But yeah, hey, no, it's not healthier. I was gonna say it's probably healthier than a piece of bread with butter, but there's no way in hell
No.
that's true. No, it's not. Um, but we haven't found like our winner
Mm-mm.
dessert for fall. Like
No.
snack, I think the snack we've accomplished.
Yeah, we
Snack
have.
we've accomplished with the Chex Mix. The soup was pretty good. It's still like I would give it 5 stars. It's not like something that I'm like, oh, this is the greatest thing I've ever had, but it's still a very,
I
very
agree.
hit.
It was excellent, but not
Yeah.
mind-blowing.
It's not like the thing that I'm like, oh my God, Craig, I can't. We have to make this
Yeah.
again another month or something. So we could still look for that, but probably we really want a good pumpkin and cream cheese recipe. Something that
Hmm.
incorporates both. Maybe we just need to make pumpkin cheesecake bites or something. Maybe that's what
Ooh,
we're looking for is like a pumpkin cheesecake something,
I like that.
you know? Maybe we need,
Hmm.
I know, but I want to make it like to where it's not like we're eating like a whole cheesecake or something. Like we just
Yes.
have like little snacky somethings.
No, I know what you mean, because this is a
Yeah.
two-person household. So like that's a lot of cheesecake.
Yeah, if you make one cheesecake, but I will tell you something though, cheesecake freezes really well. So you could, and I
Who
know you
has
don't have room in
leftover
it. Well,
cheesecake in the freezer?
well, you have no room in your freezer in
No.
your freaking three, four, I don't even know how many freezers you guys are
Uh,
up to now. Three?
three chest freezers, the fridge freezer, and my mom's fridge freezer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you don't even have room in your freezer,
No.
but it does freeze well. Oh, you know what I wanted to ask you? I
Hmm.
made we always talk about how like there are people in the chats who say like I didn't get sick from this and my grandma's made it this way for forever and it's
Yep.
fine because whatever. Um, but I made homemade sauce. Oh, it was the sauce that you and I made. Hey, we also
Hmm.
made sauce too.
Yep.
It was the homemade sauce that I made, and I've always frozen like whatever is left over in jars. But
Hmm.
I don't do the jarring methods that you do. Like I just have it in a ball jar and then like put the lid on and screw it real tight and put it in the freezer. Is that actually safe or is it not?
Yes, so freezing it is completely safe.
Oh,
So
okay.
when it comes to canning, it's what happens is with water bath canning, that's where you cover it
Yeah.
with water and
Yeah.
you boil it.
Yeah.
Um, it has to be either high sugar or high acid. So that's where like
Hmm.
you have pickled vegetables or jams
Yeah.
and cheese because high sugar, high acid. Because
Yeah.
if you don't, it's a perfect breeding ground for botulism, which
Hmm.
could kill you if
Yeah.
you have it, if
Hmm.
you eat something contaminated. And then I also do pressure canning, which heats it up even higher to actually kill botulism. So when you're doing canning, you have to do those things safely, but
Yeah.
freezing, you don't have to worry about that at
That's
all.
what, but see, we've been doing so much and we talk about botulism all the time because I'm usually running the timer while we're in
Yeah.
Zoom. I'm like, okay, so 20 minutes for this, 25 minutes. But then the other day when I took the sauce out of the freezer for the first time, I was like, what do I think it was when you went to the movies, because that's why I didn't ask you. Otherwise, I would have just said, hey, am I gonna die if I eat this?
Yeah.
But I did, I didn't. Um, but how long do you know? Because I feel like we have different standards. Like we talked about in the US, how like if you freeze meat and then you take it out, you need to use it within 24 hours, right? And you said
Oh,
you hadn't heard that in Canada. I don't know if the same would be for sauce. Like if I have the
mm.
sauce frozen and then take it out, do I need to like use it within a certain amount of time? I don't know.
Um,
And everyone in my
yeah.
family who would know is dead. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really know. You'd probably want to use it soon, but I don't know what the actual food safety thing is.
Yeah, I need to look it up
Yeah.
so we know because Craig is gonna have a cookbook
No, yeah, yeah.
soon-ish. Well, it'll be next year, but yeah, soon-ish that we're working on too. God, we have so many
Mhm.
projects we're doing, Craig.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
many books. Yeah.
but that's good. There's lots of
Yep.
fun stuff. But I want to make sure that we can give people that knowledge too, that there is a difference in freezing, because some people might want to can some
Hmm.
stuff that you teach them and then freeze it,
Yeah, because with a
you
lot
know?
of canning recipes, you can freeze it.
Yeah.
So there were some pressure canning recipes I wanted to do before I had a pressure canner, and I'm like, well, it would basically work if I just freeze it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've done
Yeah.
that before.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, we actually
Hmm.
need to write, and it
We
is
do.
like basically midnight. So
Yes.
we're gonna have to end this episode, I think.
Hmm.
Because we have to write some more and do some more editing and do some other stuff. But this was super fun. And
Yeah.
yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks, provided Kelly doesn't get blown away in a storm somewhere. Should be fine, I think.
Hmm.
But yeah, we'll see. Craig is not
I'm
worried
sure
at
it'll be
all.
fine. I'm
Yeah.
sure it'll be fine. Yeah.
Totally fine. Nobody's worried. I'm not at all worried. A little, yeah, no, I am. Um, but we'll see. Okay, so I think that's it for us.
Yeah. I guess the final thought? I have a final thought.
I can't wait. Let's
If
have
you
it.
have a phenomenal fall dessert recipe, send it to us.
Mm-hmm.
That is a final thought. Like
Mm-hmm.
if it's your grandmother's super secret recipe you're not allowed to give outside your family, we won't tell, but we'll make
Mm-mm.
it.
Mm-mm. Yeah, we won't even tell anyone. We'll pretend you didn't even give us anything. But
Hmm.
that's what we want. If somebody
Yeah.
has something with pumpkin and cream cheese, that's what we really, that's what we want super bad. That's it. So that's a good final thought. Now,
Yeah.
Bessie, I think you could tell people where to
Yeah.
follow us.
Oh, I think I'm getting it. So
I
we
hope
are
so.
on YouTube, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, and Twitter at Cali Craig Talk, CaliCraigTalk.
Perfect. I think.
And if you're listening to us, as we said, you better be following us. And if you're
Yeah.
not, better tell us why.
Yeah, tell us why, because we want to know.
Mhm.
All right. Thanks everyone for listening. We will see you guys next time.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye-bye-bye.
One time you're gonna do it, I'm not gonna laugh. I swear I'm gonna hold it together. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. All right. Bye. Bye. For real this time. Bye.